Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Fire Friday. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite things to do. I get to meet and chit chat with some of my friends from the industry, other like minded leaders. And really, what's the most exciting part about this is we don't really just talk real estate. We get to talk about just these amazing, deep, inspirational stories that helped us along the way. And today, Lindsay Stevens is going to talk a little bit about the journey that she built, her story and how she loves on her team, how she's overcome so much. But most importantly, my favorite thing is how, she's just such an amazing, positive spirit. Lindsay, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. I absolutely love you. And what most people don't know is that, on StreamYard, we look pretty, on these shows, we look pretty tall with our big personalities, but you and I are both fun size. When I met you in person, I'm like, oh my God, you have this feisty, badass personality. And when I met you, I'm like, I see you, girl.
Tiny.
We're both tiny. Yeah, I get that a lot. People are like, I thought you were taller than what you were via Zoom. I'm like, yeah, Zoom
No.
is a little taller.
I know I'm always like 5'3", like on a good day, 5'2" on a not so good day.
Yeah, I barely could push 5 feet, girl. So anyways, Lindsay, you're you're one of my little, like my favorite souls that I get to work with. And we get to work together because we coach, but, you run an amazing team, but most importantly, you're an amazing mother, daughter, wife, and friend to your team. And, how did you get started in real estate? And, a lot of times people say, what did you do to get successful? But Chep always teaches me, is like, what did you have to get wrong over and over again to get to where
Yeah.
you're at versus, things being perfect. So let's start off with where, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, first of all, thank you because for you to say that to me means a lot because obviously I think the world about you too. Um, so I'm just a small, like upstate mountain girl, pretty simple. I think I sort of carried that with me. Still simple life, simple person. Yeah, so I grew up in upstate New York, about 90 miles north of New York City. And you know, lived actually where I live now. So where I grew up is where I ended up coming back to. I ran away from home when I was 17 years old. My parents were going through a really tumultuous divorce. And I actually doubled up on credits in high school to graduate early to leave because I felt like I had to go, had to get out. It was just too much going on, family life, So I left. I went to New England, went to UMass Amherst, lived in New York City for 6 years after that, and then found my way back to the Hudson Valley. But, I feel like my fire came from working and living in Manhattan, and I worked in the sports industry. My dream was to be the next Jerry Maguire. That was what I thought I wanted to do. I got a degree in sports management and worked 90 hours a week, slept on the floor of my office, worked for free. Then I was promoted to, I think my paycheck was like $500 every 2 weeks. So I worked for dirt, but just trying to like bust my way into the industry, which is hard to do.
As a woman also in the sports industry, I'm assuming that's really challenging and hard. It's still a lot of work to be done, even though we have seen some progress, but I'm assuming it was not easy.
It was hard. The industry's hard. Like it's hard to break into. It's just hard. So you got to pay your dues. And I was willing to do that. Like obviously, I'm not afraid to work hard. But ultimately, I realized it just wasn't the career path for me. And I found that just through I worked in golf, like in PGA golf, and then I worked for Edelman Public Relations, which is a PR company, doing in their sports industry in their sports division in golf. And then, I just realized not a lot of honesty, not a lot of integrity. And it just didn't feel right. Like it wasn't aligning with me. And I just, I ended up leaving. I went to Morgan Stanley and I did their event planning. So I did a 4 years there doing all their event planning when the market was super frothy. And then I was there in 09 when the market, 08 when the market tanked. My husband was a real estate broker at the time. I was pregnant with my daughter Maya, and he was like, "I think you should get your license." So I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Quit my
think
job.
that all that preparation in the sports industry and also Morgan Stanley and seeing, how hard you have to work to make it in that industry probably gave you a lot of preparation for what it took and takes to be in real estate, right? Because in real estate, you also got to pay your dues. You have to, be willing to, like, what other industry do we work pretty much for free without a guarantee that we're going to get paid, right?
Really.
A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know. So we're still every day trying to pay our dues and believe in something that we're not guaranteed, right? Because we things can happen, such closings fall apart. Let's say something that was way out of your control. And I think that preparation that you had in Manhattan and in the city, having left home, chasing, trying to basically get out of a difficult situation, I think built a lot of the backbone that makes you such a badass real estate leader. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the backstory, because if someone's listening to this, a lot of times people ask me, Veronica, why is it that's you could get two people finish their license the same time, let's say have the same leads, have the same resources, training, circle, and two completely different outcomes. I
Yeah.
oftentimes say we just don't know what that person's fire in their belly is, or their chip on their shoulder, or what their story was, why they need this so bad. And when you can attach yourself to, the reasoning, or oftentimes understanding their story, sometimes it starts to make sense, where
Yeah.
that fire came from. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that backstory. You mentioned something about being, a hometown girl. You went back, you love the outdoors, you love the simple things. You also, have a lot of discipline. You love to work out, you love to hike, you love to be in the outdoors. What does that do for your mental health? What does that do for you? Why is that such a big deal for you?
Yeah. People always ask me that. They're like, you're insane, because there is times where I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to be out and get it done, run. I'm an avid runner, obviously, that. I need it. I always say, like, I need it, like I need to breathe. And if I'm not outside and moving my body, and it's so much more than that for me. Like, I feel like someone once was like, you need to meditate. I'm like, I do meditate. And they're like, no, you can't meditate while you're moving. I'm like, oh, yes, I can. It's when I feel like it's where a lot of my ideas come from. I have conversations with myself and people, like things I know I need to face. I like work them out there with myself. And I feel like if I don't have that time for me, like not only do I suffer, but everyone around me suffers. So there'll be times where Bruce will be like, my husband Bruce will be like, you need to go. Like, you need to leave the house and
Go
go
for a
home
run.
and figure it out. Like, because I'm just like, ah. Yeah, I just feel like it's the time that I have with myself where I like can reflect on things that are happening and things I know I need to do or challenges I'm facing. So it's I guess like Lindsay time out there.
And
You know?
that's really important, and as we titled this, right, a journey to building lives worth living and experiences worth giving. I think anyone who's listening to this, might think, all right, girls, give me the real estate nuggets. But like, if you don't have a regimen for you and time for you, because this industry is, not to say it's, you know, the hardest industry, but it's a mental game. Like,
It's
a lot
hard.
of times you have to have the right mindset, and it's the difference between when we see someone who maybe they have all the habits, maybe they have, all the tools and resources, but maybe their mindset is not right. And,
Yeah.
a shift in mindset could really be the breakthrough of your career in real estate. So as you're listening to this, to my real estate friends, just remember, what's your me time? What's your time for you to prepare yourself, to give you time to really prepare yourself. One of the things that I do, Lindsay, that I've learned is I'm aware that I don't have enough me time. And I will, because we're overachievers and we want to do more. And sometimes it's the busy work that we think like the busy work is what we need to do in order to be successful. But now that I'm older, is that think time is so valuable.
Yeah.
currency that is invaluable. I mean, it is like you can't even measure it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you today, I'm going to be taking a few days off, and I had a lot of stuff to do, and the natural, driver in me wanted to accomplish one more thing, and I put it on my calendar, and then it was instantly going to add anxiety to my world. Woke up this morning, says nope, I had to like get that off my calendar because I needed that think time in between. um,
Mhm.
Sometimes we take on too much. Let's talk about that because I know you take on a lot, and one of the things that I when I was first talking to you was, all right, look, you're taking the kids to school, we need a nanny, like we need to like scale you because you were doing too much. Let's talk about the flip side of doing too much and how that reflects on your business.
Yeah, I mean, you burn out, right? Especially as a woman, and not to say, men, women, who it doesn't matter. If you're doing too much and burning the candle at both ends and just grinding all the time, you're not going to show up for other people or in places you need to show up. So whether it's home or work, whatever it is, it's just impossible to be all things to all people. And I've realized actually from scaling, you were like, you got to stop, you got to do this, you got to do that. I've realized that I actually, whereas we think, right, high D's, drivers, we think only we can do this. Like even cleaning my house. Oh, well, no, only I can do it that way. Only that my laundry, my this, that, especially at work. I've realized when I've allowed people to step up, they're actually much better at the tasks than I am. So especially work, where as I thought it would be impossible for anybody in my organization to ever do anything the way that I was doing it, I realized like I suck, you know? Like people are like, they love they love the leaders that have stepped up. They're good.
And it's not that we suck, it's that there's people who have other superpowers and
Totally.
ready to step up. And, this is something that's really important that we talk about that because we naturally are control freaks, right? We think no one can do it better. And you realize that if we actually realize we're doing a disservice, we're not giving 100% to anything when we are doing it all, we start saying, well, what is it that I really find joy in?
Yeah.
And that, that is the magic formula, right? And maybe that person finds joy in some of the areas that you don't find joy in. And you can
100%.
create other opportunities for people. And I'm glad that you took action on that. And, even to all the moms out there, I know mom shame is real. I know it's something that we think, well, I got to be the one to cook, to clean, to, drop the kids off. But like, I think that there has to be a shift in mindset of like, have grace with yourself. If that's where you want to spend your time doing
Of course.
work, then you got to find, someone else to lead areas that you have to say no to in order for you to say yes to. But if you still say, but that doesn't really like, I'm okay with scaling that part. I could still be a mom, give my kids a healthy life, give them a kiss, do breakfast with them earlier, but then they can be taken and dropped off by, let's say, Bruce or, the nanny. So I
Yeah.
know we've talked a lot about that. And I really talk to a lot of moms that say to me, Veronica, I struggle with this because I feel bad. And then
Right.
I say, let's compartmentalize this. Let's break this down. Who's making you feel bad about it? And they're like, oh,
Me.
it's in my head.
Yeah.
Like, okay, does your husband support you? Does your team support you? Does your nanny support you? Like, why do you feel bad about that? You're like, and they want to be more present because they're not present in anything. I mean, I'm the first one to be guilty of that. Like I went through that. I still
Yeah.
go through that. But
Yeah.
you did something with your team that I thought was really important. And that anyone here that's looking to grow as a leader really got intentional with your team on January 11th. And then of course, my crazy self, I'm like 11/11, like do it.
On
We
11/11.
on 11/11 and right for 11 minutes on 11/11. So, you guys did it. And I know that you guys had some pretty awesome, vulnerable moments. What was your experience, obviously, as a leader doing that exercise the way you did it? I know people do the vision board, like where we just take magazine covers and just put that on, which that was part of the exercise, but you guys worked on a deeper, let's say foundation. What did you learn as a leader doing that exercise and getting deep with your people? And then what was the feedback that you got from them?
Yeah. So I think over the last 12 months, we've really identified that in order to grow, we have to grow ourselves and our teams personally, right? Personal development. So we've gone like really deep into that over the last 12 months and have seen such a dramatic shift in our organization and myself, ourselves, everybody. Everybody's really trying to identify who they are at the core. And right, like Shep says, whatever happens personally will show up
Public.
publicly, professionally. And just working through stuff. Like we're human beings, we have stuff. We're complicated, species. It's just the way it is. But identifying what that is, why, working through things, trauma, past, whatever it is. So we've seen the team really adapt to that. So like initially, especially with some of the boys, they were like, Lindsay's crazy. It was like so much all the time, personal development, personal development. But, come the first of the year after doing it for 12 months, everybody's super into it. So we journaled for 11 minutes, everything everybody wants for themselves for 2022, personally, professionally, whatever it is, right? Forgiving your old self, talking to the inner child, forgiving maybe that person, whatever it is, just like leaving it in the past and focusing on the positive future and getting really clear on what that is, right? Like not being, I want to sell 62 homes. Well, why?
Right.
Why? Not even why, like what will that do for you?
Yeah.
How will that change your life and the people around you? How will that impact those in your circle?
How can we support you during that too, right? How can we
Yeah.
support you? And when someone derails and they forget and maybe their habits don't match it, like, do I have permission to hold you accountable? And that's the other thing is like we're coming from curiosity, not judgment. And it's like, look, this is what you said you wanted, and we want to support you. And if you fall off or you need a pick me up, I want to be there for you because
Yeah.
life happens, right? And it's really cool to see where you're like, wait a minute, I'm just here to sell real estate. Like, I don't need to get close to you guys. But when you are building what you're building, what we've built, one of the biggest things I say, the glue and the magic to the culture is knowing what makes people tick, what's important to them.
Yeah.
Do those vision setting, meetings or workshops. And it's not just a bunch of pictures on a poster board. It's deeper than that. It's the mindset and opening up their hearts. You start seeing people show up completely differently. Like you'll see grown men cry.
And we have, you know what I mean? And I see now, I look at their vision board and I understand why the things are there because I'm understanding where they're coming from. And, whether it's their dad worked 3 jobs and they want to be financially secure for their kids, whatever it is, the insecurities that follow us through our life and just understanding that. And somebody on the team said to me yesterday, they're going through something really difficult. And she was like, thank you for not judging me. I'm like, I'm not here to judge anybody, right? I'm here to help people. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you, not judge you, and I feel that. Like that's part of the reason I love real estate is I truly love people and I love helping people, and right, real estate, like the house is just happens to be the vehicle through the transaction, but it's so much more than that for me, and I think that's why I did good even as a solo agent. I'm like, we are family now. Like we are, like you are in my heart forever. And I always treated everybody like that. So as the people came on the team, it felt the same way. And like I love them and they know that, like they know that.
I love that. And it's felt. Your heart is so amazing. And Marty, obviously, and Michael, they stepped up and wanted to be there for you. You went through something recently that was, very hard. And obviously, we don't have to go into that. But, it was interesting to see when you were willing to ask for help, how many people were willing to step up. You have leaders in your organization that are ready to, not only focus on what's important to them, but focus on the overall group and community. And when you do those events like you just did, you really start seeing that everybody's on the same page of building a community that's united, that's
Yeah,
strong, that's there for each other. And that's what it's all about. So, as we are building these real estate teams, or anyone who's thinking about, building a dream team, it's not just about the leads, it's not just about the splits. There's so much more stickiness to it, right? And, we do outgrow people. Some people just they have to do their thing and we outgrow, but we love them on the way out. You know,
totally.
love them on the way out, but know that we all deserve the opportunity to build a life that is special, that is fulfilled, that brings you joy. And I remember telling you, I need you to take some time off.
I
I need
know. Well, we didn't do much talking about real estate for the first, several months or weeks, I guess. I know. Yeah. And that's what I needed, obviously. Yeah, I went through a lot of family stuff and then I lost my mother-in-law in December. I just feel like it was kind of like this something was following me around. There was a lot of bad juju in 2021, but I always keep a smile on my face, you
you
know.
do. You always stay positive. So let me ask you something. Like, because you have mentored many, many agents and you are a successful, consistent, top producing team, and you are always striving to get better, the agents who do very well in your world or that you have had in your space, what are some of the things that you notice in the agents that are extremely um, prepared mentally and do really well in the business, and the difference that you see in others? Like, what are some of the things that some of the agents who are listening to this could learn from that avatar of a great agent who comes into your world?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell everybody when I first meet with them, I'm like, listen, my mantra, other than being 1% better every day, is just show up,
Mm.
right? Show up, show up, show up. The more you show up, the more you win. And whether that's showing up, you know, in the office or showing up on showings or just putting yourself out there consistently, I think it's just consistency. It's just being consistent, doing the things. I had a meeting with 5 of our agents on Tuesday, and I said, you're being distracted by the bright, shiny object. You just have to stick to the things that are going to move your business forward, which sometimes are the things we don't want to do, right? Prospecting, 20 meaningful conversations a day. Are you doing the one-to-one video I love and you love? Sending it to your clients, telling them, you're checking in on them, happy birthday. Just the little things to keep in front of people on a daily basis. And don't be distracted by this, that, I need to do this, I need to have events, I need whatever it is. I think if you just focus and stay committed, you'll see your business move. And I think that's how I grew. That's how you grew. You knew what the task was. You understood the assignment and you're like, I'm just going to grind after it every day. And it's not sexy, right? It's not fun. I'm like, it is work. That's what I told them. I'm like, it's a job.
Mhm.
Sometimes it sucks.
It's not recreational.
But I think, real estate has been glamorized to this career that's like, oh, let me just show up and look cute and I'll be just, $100 bills. It's hard work. It's
It's very
hard.
rewarding, but it is hard.
Yeah.
And, when you and I were talking earlier, I just want more agents to focus on the things that are going to move the needle, right? What are the income producing activities that they're doing daily in their business? And also, making sure that they're nurturing those relationships. And when you think about how we used to do real estate, because I've been in the game for a little bit, I think you have too. Like, we didn't have all the tools and resources that we have today. Now, income producing activities can be through social media, can just be through video, can be through, text, can be through, just telling someone, liking their comments, and just showing people attention
Just
while you fail
engaging.
some of the old traditional ways that we do business. And I mean, you're selling real estate in 6 feet of snow. I'm exaggerating, but that's what it feels like when you sent me that video where there was tons of snow. I was like, "You're in a blizzard. Come to Florida."
Why are you there? What?
And I'm like, but like, so you can't go out there door knocking, right? You got to find alternative ways. Like if an agent can focus on income producing activities, and when I say that, I don't mean money. I'm just saying like your income, the currency of a relationship, the
100%.
currency of bringing value, the currency of doing videos, updates that bring value to people. When I say income producing, I do not mean only something that is self-serving for the commission. I mean things that are going to deposit into the currency of the relationship, to the currency of information, to the currency of, where I should take my wife out on date night on Valentine's, and maybe some Valentine's hack tips. Don't have to fight against the rush. These are my favorite top 3 restaurants you should check out.
Yeah.
Check them out the week before Valentine's. Like, I don't know. And just things that, again, I say are currency, income producing activities, so that we are in the media game now. And if people, don't realize that, they're going to suffer in their business. So when we talk about what are the things that agents should be doing, well, they should be nurturing their database, staying in front of their clients, bringing value, negotiating contracts, showing homes, and repeat.
Yeah.
repeat, repeat
Yeah.
it over and over again with consistency, right? The meaningful conversations and one-to-one videos. Like, hey, Lindsay, it was so great to meet you. People are like, oh, just hiding behind texts and emails, when video texts now are the new way for you to say, okay, like, I need to be different. I want you to feel my energy, see my face, see my smile, because I got to differentiate myself.
Yeah. And
So,
and in the meeting, that they were talking about what can they do, how can they be different? I'm like, you are holding the single most powerful marketing tool in the palm of your hand.
yep.
It's with you wherever you go. If you're not utilizing this to its full capacity, you're gonna lose. And it's free.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, you can send postcards. Obviously, you can do mailers. We do all that stuff, print advertising. But how can you reach thousands of people?
And the consistency that you have at your fingertips, because you always have it with you, there's no excuse. But so many people think, oh, I have to have a production studio. Listen, I have a production studio, but I actually do more of these than when I'm in the professional setting,
Yeah.
because I could just like hit the button and go.
Yeah.
But I love that you're teaching your agents that. And, like I said, one thing is we love our people, we lead with our heart. But when it comes down, you put 2 feisty, short, go-getting leaders in the room, we're gonna be like, all right, like, what are you doing to build your business, right?
Yeah.
Let's go, right?
Correct.
Like, action. And I think that's why we we vibe so well, because at the end of the day, we've had to roll up our sleeves. It wasn't handed to us. There had to be work, but to put in the work, and we're not afraid to be different. So I'm super proud of you for what you represent, how much you've overcome, because I know, again, we didn't go too much in it, but you have gone through so much, overcome, and still showed up as such a servant leader, heart-centered leader, a leader that loves her people, keeping it together for your family. Just an amazing, powerful, just bundle of just
Yeah.
awesomeness. Like when I think of you, I'm like, if I were able to say that real estate has done, given me a life that I could never have dreamed of, it also have given me the opportunity to meet people that I would have never been able to meet and dream of. And you're one of them. I think we
I
definitely
feel I feel the same way about I feel the same way about you. And I feel like I have so much growing to do and still so much learning, but that's the path I'm on. Just keep giving what I can and being a student, and I feel like everybody you meet is for a reason, right?
Oh, well, I'm so grateful for you. I can't wait to see what you and Bruce do. I mean, we've been having some amazing conversations on accountability, on building out systems, on, what culture looks like, standards. And it's not always the sexy stuff, right? But it's the stuff that we know we have to do in our business to build a business that can support the life that we want. And accountability, you've heard me say it, it's a broken record. And I'll say it again because my coach taught me it, and I believe it. Accountability is the highest form of love. So one of the biggest challenge for us leaders is also being held accountable. So we have a lot of fun doing that. Lindsay, thank you so much. I know that people are going to just feel your heart, your amazing energy, and are going to be so grateful for this conversation. Short, sweet, inspirational, and to the point. That's what we do here on every Fire Friday. I love you. Thank you for being a guest. Take us away. We'll see you guys soon.